Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Pownell Select Board Meeting on February 23rd, 2023 at 6 PM. Board member roll call.
Angie Rowling,
Jamie Person.
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris.
Mike Gardner. The approval of the agenda. A couple things we want to do to the agenda. Number 12, we'd like to move up as 6A under the warrants. And we'd like to add our treasurer as 6B after the warrants. Is there anything else on the agenda? Okay, public comment, approval of minutes of February 9th. Select board meeting, approval of minutes of February 9th, special select board meeting, warrants, correspondence, excess weight permits, old business, Bennington County Sheriff's Department meet and greet with the new leadership, audit proposal, excuse me, roadside trash and solid waste ordinance cleanup procedures and funding discussion, executive for personnel, executive for contractual, public comment, and adjourn.
so moved with the changes.
Second it.
Any more discussion? Questions? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. I'd like to open up public comment, Hannah.
Not too many hands.
Okay. Approval of minutes of February 9th, 2023, this, regular select board meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
Any corrections, discussion, and deletions? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Minutes of February 9th, 2023, special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections, deletions? All those in favor, Angie.
Abstain, because I wasn't here, correct?
That's,
Is that the one that I wasn't there? It was ARPA. That was ARPA?
yeah,
Oh, then, okay.
you were here for that one,
Okay,
but the
that's
other one
right.
wasn't a meeting, it was just information.
Okay, that's right, sorry, aye,
Right, that's why you threw me a curveball.
sorry.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
I wasn't there for that one.
so you're abstaining?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that one I was there for was the
Yeah,
first one.
you weren't here.
No, yeah. So the first one I should have abstained. This one I'll say aye to. Sorry.
Okay. Warrants, accounts payable, 2/17/23, $33,541.74.
So moved.
Second,
Any corrections, questions? All those in favor? Angie,
aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable 2/24/23, $33,029.18.
So moved.
Any questions? All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable on the new town hall, $25,569.33.
So moved.
Second,
Any questions? All those in favor? Angie,
aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll 2/17/23, $11,817.17.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions? All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
sorry, Jamie,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Sorry about that, a little out of order. Payroll 2/24/23, $11,046.10.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Which brings us into P27 large gathering permit for the Strohmeyer Road Race. I believe that's you, Paul.
Yes, it is. How are you guys today?
Good, how are you?
Excellent, thank you. Trying to stay out of the snow, but that ain't working. So, but thank you for having me back. Yep, I sent in the large gathering permit, and I believe I see Joe in there. And we've signed that, and we're just looking to make sure that's good with you guys.
Just right behind me.
I believe our concerns were discuss with our highway foreman and
Right, and I think, there's been a parking plan has
Yep.
been submitted along with the permit, right?
Yep, so I sent that to you guys earlier, and if it is super money, they'll have them come in through the Bennington side.
That's what I was gonna ask Paul, and probably, it'll probably be up to,
Yeah, we were gonna set up, so if it's really muddy, Paul, hi, I'm Alan Joe's sister. If, it's really super muddy on the south side of Strohmeyer Road, we are going to, Joe and I will make sure somebody is at the four corner intersection. We're gonna send them around Maple Grove, South Stream, Niles Road, come in on Middle Powell Road, Bennington side. They can still come in, we'll just detour them. That way, if it is a mud hole, it depends on what the spring brings. I mean, it's not been bad so far, but we just don't know. So if they,
Right.
when they come in on the Bennington side, they're coming on blacktop. They have 250 yards, I think it is, of dirt, and then they're in the parking spot. So, so we have everything mapped. We have everything set up for whatever goes on.
Okay, yeah, and I believe Joe and I had spoke as well, and, you know, we'll be pulling the cars off the road far enough so that it won't be backing up on the road. You know, just so that's not a concern, and, trying to keep it safe for everybody.
And we have three, did you guys look at the maps? So there's three entrances and they're all within a short they're not very far away, they're just that little section of north part of Strohmeyer Road.
Right.
So there's three entrance exits, so people can get in and out, there won't be a problem. We can make
right,
sure
we
they're not-
had talked about where it was gonna be,
Yeah.
so I knew about where it was gonna be.
Yeah.
It was just, just some concerns about the mud season, who knows what, April 30th, we shouldn't be in mud season, but we also shouldn't have been in mud season last week the way we were either, okay?
Exactly.
Kidding, yeah.
So how do you know, right? It's Vermont, so we, you deal with it. And then the parking, and that was all taken care of, so that's the only two
Okay.
concerns we had.
Yep.
As far as I know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
spoke with Becky as well, and we should be all set there also for the EMTs, you know, having the ambulance
Yeah.
service and
Yeah.
donating back to the town as well. So,
I also can drive if there was a problem, Paul, for the squad, like if there was issues and they didn't have enough people or somebody was off, I can still drive for them if I need to, because I'm on the fire team, so,
thank you.
yep.
make a motion to approve the, large gathering. permit.
Second.
Second.
Here comes Joe.
A little late.
A little late.
That's all right, the better late than never, right? I have a motion and I have a second, all those in favor, any more discussion on it? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike, aye. Which brings us to you, Ellen.
All right, so, I received a phone call from Pownell Estates, the old Alder Garden, the new owners, asking if they could, and I need to find the right words because this is new to me. They are asking to purchase the assignment to bid. So what that means is the sale that happened in June, there was one mobile home. And there was 3 sold in January, so June of 2022, January of 2023, there was 3 sold, 1's redeemed, so there's 2 left. What they want to do is that they will purchase at the cost that we paid, plus we will get paid our interest to date of them purchasing. We are no longer obligated to deal with that when they're going to take the trailers over as if they bought them at tax sale.
Okay.
We will get back all our money. The money that was spent between the 3 mobile homes was $4,640.49. So that plus whatever accumulated interest that Kevin figures out, it's per day. He does it per day, and I did not figure that out today because this all happened today. And we will get our money back, and then the park owners will deal with if the people don't redeem, they take over the mobile homes.
So do you have to check with,
I already checked with Kevin O'Toole.
right, do we have to check with Bob Fisher on anything?
Nope.
Or are we good? Okay.
Nope, we're good with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
This can happen with any tax sale, with anybody. So if you were to buy something at tax sale and you wanted to give it to somebody else and they wanted to take it over because you decided you didn't really want it, but now you're kind of stuck there, I guess you can find somebody to take the assignment. And Kevin does all the paperwork for that.
Okay.
The $450 fee for doing that the park owners are also paying for. That's part of their cost of buying the bid.
And they read.
And then if nobody pays, they have the mobile
Okay.
homes. We don't have to deal with people living there or what
Right.
we're gonna do with a mobile home on landed.
Right. That's what I was gonna say, is they just pick up
They
on
just
that
pick
date
up
of
where-
tax sale.
They
For the
pick
year.
up from whenever Kevin fills out the paperwork.
Yep.
I told him I would let him know tomorrow, yay or nay, and he will call the Pownell Estates
Right.
and take care of that.
The remainder of
My
that.
suggestion is absolutely, I mean, Kevin and I talked it through, because people do it all the time. And then it just gets the town out of it. You get back your money plus the interest
A no-brainer.
to town. Yeah,
It's a no-brainer.
So,
right.
Unless,
right.
unless we want to start being landlords.
No, thank you.
I'm good with that.
Right, and paying the lot rent if they don't redeem, we would owe the lot rent to the park.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just one of the things that happens when we do buy stuff in tax sale. We know we've done it before, but
you need a motion from us,
I do, you guys have to approve to do this,
so
if you wish to do so.
I think it's a good thing.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the sale,
It's called assignment of bid,
approve assignment of bid to Pownell Estates.
correct?
Should we state the amount?
No, because the amount, it's for three mobile, you can state three
Okay.
mobile homes
For 3 mobile homes?
Within Pownell Estates.
within Pownell Estates.
Second
That's
it.
why they're interested.
Any more discussion from the board? All those in favor, Angie?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye.
Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you,
And
Ellen.
they
Thank you.
also said now that they know that we're holding them, they will be checking our websites because they will just directly do that from now on. So.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Learning the process also, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Correspondence.
Correspondence, no correspondence tonight.
That's good. Excess weight permits?
So we have two.
Oh, we do?
We do. We have New England Quality Service, Inc. and Barrett Trucking Co., both approved by Joel.
Are they single or fleets?
Yes, both fleets.
Make a motion to sign the excess weight permits.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Brings us to old business.
Just in case anybody had any questions or anything that's been.
No old business?
I have one old business, actually.
Well, I knew you
I
were.
heard back from Vermont State today that we are able to use the money that was previously the housing rehab loan program that we've had for, well, since 1992, sitting in a fund. So we will be talking about that probably at the next meeting and deciding, what to do with it or how to use it.
Good news.
Yeah, I've been working on that one for close to a year. So I was pretty happy to get that response.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you'll set a date, you'll throw that onto an agenda at some point?
Yeah,
And
probably the
we'll,
next meeting.
okay, perfect. Is that all you have?
It is.
That's it? Oh my God. Okay. Sorry, guys. Brings us to the Bennington County Sheriff's Department meet and greet with the new leadership.
And if you would like, you can join the table.
Join the table.
Come on up,
Please.
here.
I apologize for being a tad bit late. We also are working on some critical circumstances right now that need our attention, sorry. Yeah, so hello, my name is James Gully, pleasure to meet you.
Me, you?
Thank you. Where would I like to start? So first and foremost, I'd like to introduce my staff. Well, no, excuse me, first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I really appreciate it. And then I would like to, thank you, Mike. I'd like to introduce my staff. This is Dr. Stephanie Peters. Dr. Peters is my administrative director. And I have Lieutenant Ross Harrington. Lieutenant Harrington is fielding the position of patrol commander. So where we have started approximately 3 weeks ago, nearly, we have lost some staff, but nowhere near the rumors that are being spread. We are,
Gotta love rumors.
well, we know where some of them are starting from, and it's to be expected. However, I would like to note that we do have, we have made a conditional offer of one full-time certified law enforcement officer. We have hired a full-time law enforcement officer who is working on a part-time standard. We are in the hiring process of hiring another full-time law enforcement officer who would like to come on board also as part-time standard. We are in the background of two who will be taking over full-time in our courts. And we have multiple others who have had interviews who are, we are waiting and or standing by because we do not want to overhire. So the commitment to the organization in less than 1 month has been overwhelming, which is great on our part. We are able to field all of our calls and we're growing in numbers. And yes, you may or may not have seen us out and about. We have been in all of our communities patrolling up to date. Here, particularly in Pownell, Lieutenant Harrington and I, we kind of started off trying to get a feel for the community of Pownell, whereas Lieutenant Harrington was focusing on certain areas of the community, such as Route 7, 346, while I was out patrolling the back roads because I too have friends and family that live on South Stream Road, Barber's Pond, Washington Brook Road, areas such as that, Strohmeyer Road, et cetera, where traffic is a major concern. In that month, we have generated numerous complaints and have worked with the Bennington Neighborhood Watch Program. Now, there are certain things I cannot disclose, whereas there are individuals and or groups that are here. We know where they are. And we are working with the Vermont State Police, who are also watching this through the Pownell Neighborhood Watch, Craig Odell's group. And we have been working in conjunction with Shasberry Barracks, Sergeant Seth Loomis, and also the Vermont Drug Task Force. To say this, we have had contact with the task force. I've made a phone call and we have been working collaboratively with them in the last 3 days. Here. So we are
Not a surprise.
well there. Mike, I'm going to be very forward here, and I know that Ross and Stephanie can confirm that there are serious circumstances that need to be addressed here because they're also plaguing the town of Bennington. And I was on the phone with Detective Sergeant Burnham regarding a circumstance that happened not too long ago in the town of Bennington that has ties here in Pownell. So we've been working really hard at trying to put forth the service that you all deserve, and that's why we're here. I would like to say that we all come with years of knowledge and experience. Stephanie, Dr. Peters has a bachelor's, let's just say, for instance, if I could, or if I may. We have a bachelor's of criminal justice. She taught courses of criminal justice up at Southern Vermont College. She has her master's in human services and now a doctorate in education. So we're able to use Dr. Peters' experience and her knowledge base and spread that wealth within the department that was not yet there before. We have Lieutenant Harrington, who comes from Bennington Police Department. Most of you probably already know Ross. Ross has handled most incidences ranging from a barking dog complaint to a homicide. We have that now in-house that was not there before. We have applied for grants. We have just submitted a body camera grant because the agency has never sought out or never acquired body cameras. We are starting a pilot program. That's looking very positive because we too need to have that that protection that is not or has not been there before. We have tried our best to reach out and or we've gone to Pownell School. We've stopped here and done security checks. We walked around. We've communicated with people within the town of Pownell. We've also asked them what they would like us to do, what they would like us, to do for the town of Pownell. And we're kind of getting a mixed response, I should say. There are those that aren't quite happy with the new transition. And that's to be expected. And by no means, there's no hard feelings. Number two, there are those that want more. And they know that in Pownell's beautiful town, I go up and I visit Matt and Mark up on the farm from time to time and bring my kids and all that stuff. But I would say that there's also areas that are hotbeds here. I mean, technically, let's be reasonable here. We all know, we can all talk about that constant conversation if you'd like. I'm very open to that. However,
I'll get to that when you're done.
I think that, and I would probably dare say within the 3 weeks that I've been here, you guys need more than just a 30-hour-a-week contract. I mean, in the perfect world, if the equity was there, Pownell would probably, and we kind of openly say this, that, and it's not just us, it's also other members in the law enforcement community, that you need a police department.
I don't, James, is it all right if I call you?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think you're gonna get a single argument from any single one of us.
Yeah.
Sitting on this board. Okay? I really and truly don't. I know you won't. It's a financial based, as everything in this world is financially driven, right? It's what we as a board think that we can afford to put on the taxpayers. So that's where it's 100% driven. So because you brought up the constable thing, I want to address that for a minute. I don't want to sidetrack you, if that's okay.
Certainly.
Okay. So our goal when we researched this out or started the research, okay, wasn't to get rid of the sheriff's department or anything along those lines. So we're going to quell some rumors right now. Okay. All right. Because I'm not a rumor person. And I don't think anybody sitting here on this board is a rumor person. And I know Tara's not, and I know Hannah's not. And they're the ones that are in here every day. We researched this out for more options. Maybe some additional coverage at a lesser cost to the taxpayer. Okay? When at 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night, when we don't have somebody on duty from the sheriff's department, maybe we have a constable who can go, that has law enforcement training, okay, not just Joe Public, not just me going in. All right, that's why we started that research. Okay, not to replace or do anything else. It was more or less to possibly increase or just give us some options to look at from the select board standpoint. Okay, it wasn't, timing probably says other,
Our biggest
A
problem.
tad,
right? Seriously.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, a tad.
No, I'm honest.
I mean, the angle where I'm coming from is that, I understand constable is one. I have an entire office. And if you need us at 11 o'clock at night, I mean, even Lieutenant Harrington and I, we've had discussions where, evening shift is something that has or was not an option in the past, whereas it is a must today.
What about weekends?
Well, that's just it. But every single town is screaming, because we've been to Reedsboro and all through the gambit, and everybody's screaming weekends at 11 o'clock at night.
I, for one, have called the state police, and you shouldn't have to wait over 45 minutes for the state police to come when a place has been broken into, or there's been a robbery, or somebody is being belligerent, and the ambulance is there, and they can't control them, and they are told to abort the situation. I do not want that to happen in this town or any town, but especially to our residents.
But if you send one person to that call, you're opening up yourself to serious liability and concern for the safety of that officer. I would not ever send any one of my officers alone.
No,
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's our biggest concern is we have very
Yeah.
little coverage on weekends. And we shouldn't have to wait, or anybody shouldn't have to wait for 45 minutes or.
So I want to shoot back to you and let you finish and then we'll open up some discussion.
Well, I'm trying to remember. Originally, it was a floating time frame for patrols. Because when we first got on the board, they were here at nighttime. It wasn't just daytime.
We were, if I remember correctly, we were having to make like special requests.
Yeah.
Like if we got a lot of complaints from residents, like of
Certain
speeding or-
areas.
I believe we had noise complaints from a select board member partying going on out on, I forget the name, off Barber's Pond.
Right.
And so we had asked for coverage, like, can you guys go check that,
Yeah.
patrol that? But it was really more request driven.
But it was
if
like
I
a
remember
couple
correctly.
nights a week. I mean, it wasn't, and it was a random situation that we never
Yeah.
set
Well,
Monday and a Friday or whatever.
it sounds like, it sounds to me like we can certainly sit down with you and Ross, because he's your patrol commander, is that what he said?
Correct.
It certainly sounds like that, and tonight's not the night to do it because, we need to figure this out, right? All of us. But it certainly sounds like we can sit down with you guys at some point, and I'm not sure if Ms. Peters would be involved in this or not, but so, but it certainly sounds like we can identify some times when we say, okay, look, this is what we'd like to try. Okay, we don't want you here every day let me rephrase that. We'd love to have you here every day from 7 to 3:30, right? But let's face it, things don't happen every day from 7 to 3:30.
As for myself, who I've patrolled down here since I came on with James, it's been during the daytime. And it's a lot of, I've written a lot of tickets. I've stopped a lot of people, stopped a lot of cars. I've stopped a lot of vehicles that shouldn't be in your community, if you understand what I'm saying. And there's only one reason why they're in their community. The sheriff backed me up on one of those traffic stops. But there is definitely the need to expand, to be here from the 5 o'clock hour on to whenever.
Right, and look at it, I'm not a law enforcement officer, obviously, right? But I can say, okay, look at, we need you guys, we'd like to have you guys here 2 nights a week, and it can rotate because if you're every Friday night and every Thursday night, well, who's gonna do shit on Friday or Thursday?
That's a pattern.
Right? So if you're random and rotate it around, but it sounds like we can do that. It sounds like you're open to that.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I'm not sure we had that in the past with the,
My concern is if I have a deputy here, I want 2. I want one to be able to back up the other one, in case you do go to that domestic. Domestics are the most dangerous things for law enforcement officers to respond to.
And not only that, and this isn't the only conversation we're having with you, we're having this with Stanford or with Reedsboro, because as we discussed in Reedsboro, Dr. Peters and I, you drive through the beautiful town of Reedsboro. 1, you're lucky if you have cell phone reception, and 2, you're lucky if you can call out on a radio. And so if you have,
here you have that.
Right.
Yes.
and with that being said, like we heard in most towns, but we don't have that type of crime until
It happens.
you do. And with that being said, it's hard to say, I'm going to put my finger on this, and between this hour and this hour, the only thing you're going to have to handle would be VIN checks, barking dog complaints, neighborly disputes, and a few motor vehicle incidents. However, the world doesn't work that way. So like in Stanford last week, Stanford said the same thing to us, and the very next day or the day after, it was in the news where Stanford had a massive hit and run and motor vehicle
9 a.m.
at 9 a.m. And it was And then there was a response from a member of the Stanford Select Board saying, okay, you got us to eat our words or words to that effect. And that's not what we're trying to do. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to operate in the safest, most effective manner possible to serve you the most effective way possible. Yeah,
That's what we're looking for, right?
right.
We're all looking for that.
Right.
I will say it's a breath of fresh air that you're willing to reach out to other agencies because past leadership didn't do that. I do know that because I asked that question directly when.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a little analogy out on that. If I'm in this uniform and I'm in trouble, I don't care if it's a fireman that shows up.
A Boy Scout.
I don't care who shows up.
Yes.
And that's always been our feeling. I came from the Bennington Police Department. I would run from Pownell if they were in trouble. And I would go up there and, you know, it's the same, the relationship with Manchester PD, the relationship with the state police is very strong. There's a little tension between us and Bennington, but that'll resolve itself shortly.
But, you know, working collaboratively with the Vermont State Police, I know that both Ross and I can say from the highest levels that we believe in the Vermont State Police, just like we believe in the Bennington County Sheriff's Department. We believe in the people of Pownell to communicate with both organizations to effectively share information so we can solve the problems that are plaguing this community. And the state police with the county sheriff's department are beginning to blend their silos together so we can work collaboratively to solve these problems. The thing that is my reality, I don't want to use concerns. I want to say the term reality. The realities are that if we are no longer in this picture, we are a contracted service. And if we are working so diligently between now and then, and we're really within 3 weeks, we're working hard for you guys. And we're scared that we're not going to have this. So here's all this hard work to be pulled out from underneath us, and then what? So, I mean, that's my reality.
And it's definitely, if I were in your shoes, I'd have the same concern. Okay, because like I said 5 minutes ago, rumors fly everywhere. Right? I mean, look at, there's people out there that already have this position hired. Right? There's people already out there that already know or think they know that we already have a constable hired. You know what? Not true. Okay, first off, we don't have voter approval to do it.
Right.
Plain and simple. And then there's a whole process. There's a whole process of it.
Well,
If it were to happen. And even if, who knows where it's gonna go? We don't know.
and that's not for us. That's not for us to say. That's for your taxpayer or your voting population to say.
Sure.
But what I can say, sitting in this chair, wearing this uniform, is that I bring to the table copious amounts of certified, squared away, connected law enforcement officers who are willing to work with all parties involved, not just within our walls. Number two, I'm covering all liabilities. Because, you know, I pick up the phone and I call Vermont League Cities and Towns just like you do. And I ask those questions to Trevor Whipple, who's in charge of insurance. And I understand that it's a concern and they have a slight worry about constables and their accountability. With us, we pay approximately $150,000 in insurance, including workman's comp. So that is not a stress that this town or this community's taxpayer has to worry about. The infrastructure of our organization is in place. I don't believe there's one set up here yet. I could be wrong. The equipment, the fingerprinting, the data master, the radio communication infrastructure, that's all a burden and a cost that we provide, and we just ask for the hourly rate. Now, yes, have I asked every single town? Have I had to increase my hourly rate based on my operations expense? Absolutely. I've had to. But with that being said, I still think that it is a very reasonable cost. And I think it's also, I would say, very cost effective for, again, only me saying, the taxpayers of Pownell to consider us, the sheriff's department that is already established and in place versus the years or the future years laid out, or the unknowns that are out there for the constable for the town of Pownell. Now, please, you have to forgive me. I'm a cheerleader for my organization. I speak very highly of our staff, and I know that we can get it done, and I know that we can suit your needs with all that aside, but.
There'd be a serious problem if you weren't.
Right?
Okay.
Right.
And let's face it, right? I think you know me well enough to know I don't pull a lot of punches, and it's that simple, you know?
Right.
So if you weren't a cheerleader for your own organization, 3 weeks into, or however long it's been, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If you weren't a cheerleader for that right now, if I was Ross, I'd be putting it out the door. Now, I don't know if he rode with you or not, but okay.
I mean, I would say that we're, you know, and again, as I've noted in numerous conversations, both public and private, I will not throw stones at my predecessor. That's not what I'm going to do. That's not what I will do. Nor anybody who decided to leave, because there's no hard feelings, because I still hold most, if not all, in high regard. What I will say is that the direction that we are in, or the channel that we are in, is strictly at the purpose of serving the people of Pownell well, most effectively, most within the most cost-effective means possible, because everything is expensive out there. I mean, my wife and I, within our household, everything is getting expensive. I would say the same thing for you all. So in a perfect world, I would love to keep our costs at where they are, but everything that I'm paying into, just in insurances, it's gone up approximately $20,000. Our communications have gone up immensely. And hiring qualified staff, I'm not paying what, just so that you know, there were those that were being paid lower than what McDonald's pays now, carrying a gun. That's wrong. And that's scary. And I will not do that. I've already had that conversation with our administrative staff, as well as Jude, Shaughnessy, and Carolyn Graves, who could not make it this evening. And that is not applicable. So the bodies that I'm hiring are going to be based on the hourly wage, because I'm going to continue to train them. I'm going to continue to serve them as well, in order to retain them, because everybody is stealing from each other, that being law enforcement. So in order for us to retain solid core groups of officers, both men and women, who are willing to put their life on the line, 1440 is not going to cut it.
And I'm a firm believer in the retention part of it, because if you have one of your officers who works, and I don't care if they work in Reedsboro or Stanford or wherever you're at, if they're in that certain area for an extended length of time, they learn, right, the ins and outs of the people who were there, right?
Oh, yeah, you get to know yes, of course. You know, hey, listen, I've been up in the barn one too many times and hearing from both Matt and Mark in regards to how this was done and that wasn't done right, and et cetera. And they're right.
No.
Yeah,
That's right.
And you have to build, and again, I'm going to go back to these three core groups, because this is what we all stand on within the sheriff's department, if not most of us. I would say trust, character, competency.
Yes.
Can you do what you say you can do? So if we say we will be here during the evening hours, and if that's what we can commit to with a contract, and if that's what you would like, that's what we will do. Our character, we will, and I require my staff, and I know Ross does, and both Dr. Peters does, Lieutenant Harrington, and both Dr. Peters, that we also hold each other and our staff in high regard. Their integrity is important, because if you're out doing something that you should not be doing, are you going to get the trust of your community or communities? And if they don't trust you, why would they talk to you and share any types of intelligence with you? And to know that what you're saying, that information is being dealt with accordingly and it's being handled properly, because we're at the moment and we're in the time frame where if you're sharing information against a group or a person or a group, they could seriously harm you or kill you. And that's what we're in now. So again, in order for us to move forward and to effectively do what we need to do, those are the three areas of interest that we have to focus on, and that's what we are. So sometimes I write short sermons, but I tend to get away with myself, so I apologize. It's just the father in me, so sometimes I speak too much.
My kids are grown up, so I'm a lot more quieter now.
I'm envious.
It doesn't matter, trust me.
So again, I apologize for being too long-winded, but this is something that I'm passionate about, and
No, I think it's great. I think it's a really super solid thing because I think the rumors need to be quelled on a lot of things that are going on. There's just too much of that goes on to start with, and not just with this. We do, the select board, we deal with it all the time, and not just. Go ahead, Tara. Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm over here now. You said the contract might be changing. Is that something you plan on for like June or?
well, right now, our contract expires at the last day, or I'm sorry, the first day of July. However, we have contracts in Stamford and Reedsboro, for an example, that expire the first day of February. And instead of us saying, too bad, so sad, we've been going into Stamford and Reedsboro as well as other areas of interest. So they too have time to communicate and collaborate, and because they do want our services. So instead of pressuring them in order to force them, okay, listen, we're not going to serve you, so we're out. We've been there every week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been fulfilling our obligations, even though there's still nothing on paper.
Okay, and you're likely going to increase.
I will have to
rate?
increase
Is
the
that
rates,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will have to increase the rates.
And we have one other question. If the town approved an appointed constable and we kept the sheriff contract, is there an opportunity for sort of a partnership or you working with the constable?
I would say, if that is the route that Pownell goes, that's something that I have to sit down and think about.
Okay.
Right, that's something that, because now I'm getting into a concern of, liability. Another area of concern would be, are they using my facility? Another area of concern, just
Yeah,
right here now, there's a lot of
questions.
questions that I have, yes, so,
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns for us too at this
Right.
point. It's just something I was curious
yeah,
about.
thank you.
This would be a lot of logistic things that we got to work on between the two.
Starting out, a law enforcement, and please don't take this the wrong way. There are a lot of communities that are looking for more cost-effective ways to serve their community, to offer that safety. However, it is very difficult and it's costly. There are a lot of intricacies that need to be met, like a simple ORI number. You're dealing with the federal government on that. That one thing alone is extremely tasking, and there is no book that you can buy and open up and say, how to start a police department.
No, there certainly isn't.
It's a lot, yeah. So I'm not looking.
She's investigated.
Yeah, it's, yes. So
Absolutely.
I think we're good. We're good.
I really appreciate you coming in.
I thank you for having us.
I hope we've quelled some of your concerns.
Well, and I hope that we opened up the door to continue the collaboration between the two of us. We are very easy to work with. We're not here to create a problem or disruption. We just want to continue to serve you, because we are now getting phone calls from Arlington and other areas, possibly other areas of interest within the town of Bennington are now starting to develop for us that were never there before. So we also have only so many staff.
Right.
And that's why we want to commit to those who've committed to us.
Well, I don't think the door's ever been shut or even partially closed.
Great.
Okay? At least for me. And I don't speak for the whole board. Each person here has their own ideas, and that's how I operate. And that's how I run our board in our town. But I'm pretty positive that the door's never been shut. It's never been partially closed. I don't think it's ever moved off the stopper. It's just.
I'm going to hold you to it, Mike. I'm going to hold you to it.
Hold me to it. That's who I am. And like I said, I think it's some things that have been there for a while, some concerns, in the past. And I think it was just so, to open up and look at some options.
Yeah.
See what the options were. Okay. And I think having an appointed constable, if you watched on the 13th,
We're watching. We're watching.
the informational meeting that we had, and we're gonna have another one on Monday, the 27th. I think we try to explain why we as a board feel that an appointed constable is more effective. And I'm not gonna get into it tonight because we got a meeting on the 27th, but why we feel an appointed constable is much better for the town than an elected constable. So that's where that comes from. That has nothing to do with anything else. We the appointed versus elected is totally separate from the rest of it.
That actually was on the ballot a couple of years ago. We tried to-
And it never got explained, and that's partially my fault too, because we didn't explain it out, but
We weren't on the board then.
yeah, I think we were.
Yeah. We had a lot of things on our plate at that time, so.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't think we were focused on.
We weren't, and
We've learned a
But
lot.
anyways, that's beside the point. If you watch the 27th or if you watch the 13th meeting that we had on, did we record that? We did, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll explain for sure where we're coming from with that, so.
And just so that you know where I should say, when we depart, I want you to know that we are digging deep. And I know that there are those that are watching, and I know that we want to get together with Craig Odell's group because I know that they're watching this now along with the state police because they are paying attention. And we are going to continue to dig and find the people that are acting in an unlawful manner, who are not only that, but who are trafficking copious amounts of dangerous drugs as well as guns into this community. And we are going to continue that. And we will keep you posted with what we can. So
I think,
I'm really trying to be careful what I say because
so
We appreciate it.
I think a line of communication, James, is huge. Even if it's just to Tara or just to me or one of the board members, just kind of, hey, look at, we're working, I understand that you can't just say, hey, we're working on, 37 Center Street because it's, all right, and I don't even know if that's a number, but whatever, okay. I totally get that. Then you say, hey, well, this is what we're doing right now. This is kind of where we're focusing on, I think that goes a long ways
yeah, okay.
in my book. And I think all of us would say the same thing.
So would you prefer that I send Tara the email and I CC you, sir, or would you? Because you're the chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the board chair. That could change in March. But, no, I think that's good. What do you guys think? Is that something you're all comfortable with?
I'm fine with that.
Bob? You've been pretty quiet over there.
Well, I'm fine with that. I think we've always had a good relationship with the Bennington County Sheriff's Department. And, all options are on the table as far as I'm concerned. We still need to go through all of our pros and cons and our costs. And that's just something we have to do as a board.
I would like to ask you, before you leave tonight, to, at a future board meeting, even before the contract expires, where we sit down and I don't know if we do it as a board or if we do it as a small committee where we can talk about the hours of patrol. because I've been sitting here for 3 years and no, we've never discussed that. We've never discussed hours of patrol with,
Well, we've asked and they said no.
Yeah.
you know, I'd like to, you know, at a future board meeting, I'd really like to sit down with whoever you want to bring,
Okay.
you know, that, you know, your staff.
I can most certainly start the conversation tomorrow with an email. Articulating or, you know, providing a preliminary sense of what we would like to do. And then obviously, your feedback is paramount, so at least we can start that line of communication. So when we sit down, we have something that's in place, so nobody's getting ghosted or, so you all know what's happening or what the circumstance is. Yes, I mean, I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible.
I understand that and I appreciate that. You know, I just think that, you know, if we were able to discuss some of those different
Yeah.
random hours, just the change that, you know, aren't 7 to 3:30 every day or
Right.
One thing that I'm gonna ask you guys while you're sitting right here, and I've asked this a million times, and I'm gonna ask it as, not as the select board chair, I'm gonna ask it as the manager of Dufour. I have an incredible problem of cars passing my school buses on Route 7. Okay?
Okay, so,
Route 7 at Winchester's, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you station the person down there, an officer down there, you could pay their salary. I'm telling you.
it's funny, one of the biggest things, and then why James chuckled, is that's one of the things that I look for. Trying to figure out the bus route, I usually catch the bus comes North Powell Road, 346, and then comes up off 346 and pulls out by Winchester's. So I don't know if you talk to the bus drivers or who drives that bus. I've been behind it quite a few times looking for that. I have not had anybody run them yet.
Yeah, we were talking about that actually.
If you sit at Winchester's at 6:35 in the morning when they're picking up on Route 7 and you back up in there a little bit, I'm telling you, you could line the cars. I'm telling you, I guarantee it.
They will not like those tickets.
No.
So my question is, when you write a ticket on Route 7, does that?
Goes to the state.
Goes to the state.
Well, this is a difference of opinion.
Not that I don't want you to
If
write a
it's-
ticket,
if
I'm
it's-
just asking.
Well, the difference of, so
I know what go ahead, Ross, I'm sorry.
You might answer my question.
there's that pretty little sign that says State Highway Begins. I'm still writing any tickets in Pownell and anything but the 50-mile-an-hour zone under 1007 until I get screamed at by
The judiciary.
DMV, the Judiciary Board. I'm gonna do that. The 50-mile-an-hour zone is, I write under 1081B, which is a local basic rule
Right.
for a 50-mile-an-hour zone. It's only 2 points, even though how fast you're going, it doesn't change 2 points. And that keeps more funds for the town. But I really expect to get my hand slapped.
Well, I was wondering, is Wallingford, they're on 7, and I don't know the actual verbiage, maybe you guys do, but if it's a village designation, like where we have the 40-mile-an-hour zones on 7, in Powell Center and then down by Dwyer's and the Mass Line, shouldn't that money be designated to the town because those are designated areas and it's a reduced speed?
So-
I can understand the 50-mile-an-hour.
It's what it's identified as by the state.
By the state.
Do you know how the town can reach out to have an identifier? Have you heard of anything like that?
Let me work on that and
I
I'll,
was just curious.
You know, that's a debate I've had for years.
right, I mean, we certainly went through this discussion in Bennington when we were
Yes.
both in Bennington PD, because we do know that, you know, every, like for instance, if it's 100, again, this could have changed, but for every $105 ticket that is written, I believe the town gets $40 or approximately $41. That number may have changed, but the last time I checked, for instance, the state would get 60 approximately and the town would get 40 approximately. if it's all drafted in the state, because it's no different than a stop sign. For instance, if you have your local ordinances and you have a stop sign that is considered a town stop sign, we would write that under a local ordinance or a 1008, and that monies would go back to you. If it's drafted or written under a 1048, or it's a stop sign that is considered by the state.
Governed by the state.
Governed by the state. If it's written in a Title 23 VSA 1048, it would, all those funds would go back to the state. So we are very understanding of the fact that just like every town administrator or every town manager that we serve or work with, we have to understand that there is revenue there that's at your disposal. And we know that that is because that helps fund certain things within that overall budget within your community. And we are aware of that.
Yes.
So we too have had these conversations in the last 2 weeks. So, and it's not just you guys, it's also the other communities.
We have, I imagine there's nothing that can be brought up here that we haven't had discussions on already. And I was just talking about when I was FTOing a deputy that I will eventually get on the road. I told him obtain 81B. That way more money is left for the town that's paying us.
Right.
Versus the state.
Yeah. So with that being said, we are aware that, that please don't take this the wrong way. Of course, we're not going to create a speed trap and hammer, kind of like certain communities that are out there in the state of Vermont, without being said on a recorded, But we understand that we too also have to find the balance. It's not just a take and nothing coming back. We are aware of that.
Yeah, there's a new way, and it was a training that I recently went to for law enforcement.
Get you those limits.
Where just going up, writing a ticket, walking up to a ticket with a ticket and explaining how they can contest the ticket and going on the way doesn't work as far as going in and then educating the person. You're doing 71 and a 50 mile an hour, traveling 2.5 car lengths behind the car in front of you. You tell them, for every 10 miles an hour of speed, there has to be a car lane. People think that's crazy, but that's what I've done for the last 10 years is
Following too closely. Yeah, I mean, that's a great interdiction stop. That's what we used to.
There's
But never.
education on the traffic stop, followed a lot of times by a written warning. And if you just explain to them why,
Right.
The education part goes a lot further sometimes than just throwing a ticket at them. And then, taking a person who's running late for work, who's already in a bad mood, and making them in a worse mood.
Yeah.
It's
to find that balance.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I agree totally. And of course, one of the things we have to be wary of is we don't want to be addicted to the money that's coming in, because the real truth is we're doing our jobs correctly if people aren't breaking the law. And so, and that's where we want to end up. We don't want to look at it as an opportunity to make money. And that's not what I heard. What I heard was we want to curb behavior.
Right.
And that's the right approach in my opinion.
But there's no excuse for passing a school bus. That's a ticket all day long.
I would enjoy that one.
And when people stop doing that, we will have succeeded.
That's right. Correct.
I'd love that. I'd love that too. So trust me.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
See you again.
Ms. Peters, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See you.
Nice
Nice to
to
meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Ross. Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, it's great seeing you again. Mike.
Little bit different hours.
You know how to get ahold of me.
Yes.
If you,
Nice to see you again. Thank you.
Yes,
you can
I'll
go
send you an email
email
tomorrow.
and, Tara's, she's really good about communicating with us, so use her. She's awesome about the communication.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, sorry, guys, but it was very informative,
No, it was a good meet and greet. I'm glad we got an opportunity to speak with them.
absolutely. All set?
I am, I'm running the meeting and,
No, I know, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Well, while you're doing all that,
so did you look at the audit proposal? We had one submission for the RFP. It's from RHR Smith. It is for $17,000 for the FY '22 fiscal audit.
Did Ellen say if we've used them in the past before?
No,
Just
we have
curious.
not used them before,
Okay.
but this is the company that many of the local agencies who lost the company we were previously using
Okay,
went to this company. So that's where we got their name from and.
right, plus they're the only one.
Yeah, and we did meet with them and they seemed very reputable. They seemed very on top of things. They actually wanted to come in throughout the year to look at records instead of waiting till the end. And
What a concept.
we had a good conversation with them.
Really?
Myself and Ellen talked to them and they seemed.
And that's what we were hoping for anyways. That's what the whole purpose of us for the auditing positions.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. You and Ellen seem very comfortable with this. What is it? I don't have, it.
RHR Smith and Company.
You're very comfortable with them on the surface?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Tara on this?
I do, I just want to get a perspective of it, of how much we've paid in the past. Yeah, I just don't remember how much.
Like last year, I think was 16,000, so it's comparable.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it's
didn't
very,
sound like
very
too much.
close.
It sounded quite reasonable, but.
That's what I thought. I thought we were up in the 20s.
And if the board so chooses, hopefully, the first year, see how it goes, and then hopefully we can just contract with them for a longer period of time, so we don't have to keep going out to bid.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Could we put that into the contract at this point?
Probably, yes. And honestly, I was told when I first started this process that at some point when we did away with internal auditors, the external auditors, we weren't supposed to have to go out to bid because I think Bonadil was going to just carry that contract.
Well, that's what our understanding was at the time.
Right, so I think we can sort of do the same thing with them and then,
What do you think about that, Bob? Do you think we should try to write that into this contract here where we keep them, we have the option to keep them on board for 3 more years or rather than doing this every single year?
I honestly don't know what the pros and cons of that are, and I would want to do some research before I voice an opinion on it.
Okay.
Because I can see that there's definitely some, to say that we could just further the contract also means that there has to be some kind of, how much of an increase would we take year over year?
Right.
yeah.
And it may be tied to an index, probably tied to an index. Versus a year-to-year contract. I'm not sure what else would be, whether or not that would raise or lower the cost. I mean, there's just some questions that I would have.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of basic questions. I just don't feel comfortable enough to give you an opinion on that right now.
No, that's understandable.
And the other thing, this is their first year with us. Do we want to see what we get after their audit?
I was kind of thinking that too. Let's see how they
Presentation and
perform
everything
this year,
else.
then go from there.
Yeah, and then we can talk that with them.
Well, I think there's ways to build into a contract. If they didn't perform very well, we could.
Oh, I'm sure.
But whatever. No, I understand. I guess we're gonna go out to bid again next year and,
Well, yeah.
or, on RFP at least anyway.
So I make a motion to move forward with RHR Smith's proposal for 17,000 for our audit.
I'll second that. Oh, Mark,
Any more discussion?
Give it a Bob.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. So carried.
So the roadside trash and solid waste ordinance stuff. We've had some issues arise recently with a lot of trash on the sides of the road. We've had some volunteers going out cleaning it up. And then if it's a town road, the town has been picking it up. With that said, we are placing cameras. So.
Thank you.
If people see the town picking up trash and think, oh, great, I can just dump my trash now and the town will pick it up. But that is not the case. You will be fined. So please spread the word that we are putting the cameras up. We will be prosecuting anybody who dumps garbage on the side of the road. With that said, the state did come down to clean much of the highway. They've gotten quite a bit.
They've been there 3 days.
Looking pretty good.
Well, they could be facing a state fine as well as a town.
I think,
Right.
I think that we should email back to the sheriff's department what our ordinances are,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure that the new sheriff would have,
The updated one.
be updated on what our ordinances are, the cover ordinance, our trash ordinance and that kind of stuff.
And that
Okay,
we're enforcing through the judicial bureau now.
I also, that's right. We are, as a town now, set up through the judicial bureau. Some of us have numbers.
You do and Lemon does.
Right, to initiate these fines. So
Kind of where I was going with the next, the solid waste ordinance. So we had
you go.
a number of houses that have been numerous complaints about. So we sent out notices to those people with the ordinance flyer with certified mail, so we could prove that they got it, they are
Yep.
aware of the ordinance, they know they're in violation. So my question is to you guys, should we now send Mike to issue a violation ticket? Mike?
I
mean, I don't know. Who are we
No,
sending?
this is where I was gonna go with this for right now, okay, honestly. Because we don't have, we have not discussed who should or shouldn't go out and issue the tickets. Me as the zoning administrator, I do have a number to write tickets, and I have a ticket book in my truck. Leonard has a ticket book in his truck, and he has a number to write tickets. I am more than willing at this time to be the person who goes and writes the tickets. I'm totally fine with this. However, until we figure out as a board how we're gonna fund it. And I'll go right on the record now and saying look at, there's no money for it, so I'm doing it for free, basically, for my selectman salary. But being the board chair, I'm fine with being the person that goes out and writes the tickets. I think we've done due diligence on some of these places. I think we have sent, and my name hasn't been at the bottom of the letter anyways.
Yeah.
We've sent out letters to several habitual offenders, or constant, places. So their time is up, that their 30 days, I think that we give them 30 days, right? Their 30 days are up. Now it's time. And I'm glad this is on here tonight because there's only one way. There's only one way that we're gonna clean up these places or deter anybody else from creating the same situation.
Right.
Is we have to find them.
Yeah, we don't do enforcement.
I'm not a huge person to create hardship on somebody. But look we gave you 30 days to clean up, and.
Some improvement.
And that's right. And some of the places that have the 30 days also have had the letters and our flyers. And it's not just a letter that goes out. I want to be perfectly clear with this. It's not just a letter. Here's your letter of violation. Okay. Our ordinance goes out with it, right? And the information package that we put together a few months ago go out with these letters, So it's not it really shouldn't come as a surprise.
Right.
It's going to for a little while.
Right.
It's going to.
Right, but that was our goal all along, was to attempt to educate first.
Yeah.
Even when we send out a violation, I mean, that's what we discussed. So there would be no surprises, even though they're gonna be, like you say, but with some people.
So he can write the ticket, he can also make it a zoning violation that gets recorded on their, in our land records with Julie. With that said, there are some instances where it is a tenant who has built up the garbage. And
Right.
we've had landlords reach out and say, what do I do now? They've either filled my dumpster and other people can't get rid of their trash, or we have another situation where people are just getting the property back into their possession. The person's still living there. If we get volunteers or whatever to go clean up that mess, my concern is it's just going to continue because the renter or the tenant doesn't have anything to lose.
Right, and they're still there.
Yes, and they're still there. So putting a violation on the landowner or the property owner isn't,
But he's also collecting rent.
Right,
in the one circumstance I'm thinking of, no. There is one circumstance, yes. So it's a little tricky to navigate those pieces.
Well, the one circumstance that we're talking about, the people they own their property and rent a lot.
Right.
So we could
potentially put a lien.
put a lien on that one. The other one with the tenant only
Big
that
offense
rents,
there, yeah.
that puts a damper in it. So I think we really need to discuss as a board how we're going to, and I'm not sure tonight's the night, because I think it needs some research. But what do we do in that situation where a tenant is
The culprit.
is the culprit of the garbage or trash or solid waste? So let's go solid waste, okay? Right, let's go solid waste because God forbid. How do you hold the landlord or the owner, but the landlord and the owner is collecting rent. But in this one situation that we're dealing with right now, the new owner or soon to be new owner
It's evicting.
is evicting and they're reacquiring this. I think probably more or less against their will, so to speak, but they are. So how do we hold that landlord and owner accountable? How do we put a lien logistically? So I think it may be a case by case basis.
But wouldn't that person that is acquiring that land, that property, know what it looks like when they go after that property to acquire it?
They do. And so there's been a lot of talk around town about it. And someone said to me, oh, I have volunteers and a truck and we're gonna go get all that trash or household waste or whatever you wanna call it, solid waste.
Solid waste.
Just like the animal
Which
control officer,
is
dog
great,
officer.
because it wouldn't cost the town anything. But I don't wanna send them to do that if there's nothing keeping that person from continuing to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So maybe we come up with some sort of an agreement to the landowner, the property owner, and we say,
maybe they provide trash, garbage removal.
okay, look.
One time.
We feel that we can come in here
Incorporate it.
one time and on this one certain piece of property and we file that with Julie. Right? And we'd have to check this out and make sure it's a legal thing, but we file that with Julie and say, okay, we're gonna come in, we have the volunteers, they're gonna clean up the trash, solid waste, slap me now. They're gonna clean up the solid waste. They're gonna take it to the transfer station or to Casella or wherever we take it, right? Probably to the transfer station. And if it reappears, then we will hold you accountable. You will get a letter for another 30-day letter. Right? And then after, and if you do not clean it up within that 30 days, then we will fine you and we will attach a lien on your property.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
yeah.
So I think some of this has to be covered by state statute, right? There has to be some laws that cover what your responsibilities are when you're a renter, when you're a landlord. And I think I've heard a couple of different scenarios here. One is where the ownership of the property is actually changing. Another one is an eviction where the ownership is not changing, but the renter is being evicted for whatever reason.
They're the same scenario.
Right.
It's the same property, actually,
Same
Bob.
property, Bob.
So you're talking about a specific property, okay?
Yes, ownership is changing and they're gonna attempt to evict, but, yeah.
But
And then a different one is renting and owns the property, but rents out the lot, I guess is the way to
Right.
put that.
just like a tax, if there's a,
So we
they're in
just
there.
need to be careful that we're in compliance with whatever I'm sure there are state statutes that talk about that, talk about what the responsibilities are. That's it. I just want to make sure that we're, and you mentioned it too, Mike, we need to make sure that it needs to, we need to make sure that we're legal on whatever.
Right.
Absolutely.
I did want to back up a little bit
Good
to
question for VLCT.
to the letter, to the litter as well. I know when we first talked about that portion of the ordinance, we were talking about signage. So I'm not a big fan of the please don't litter signs. But if we have an ordinance that says litter first offense is $250, I think a sign like that would be a deterrent.
There is signage on 7
Yes, and 3/4
and 346.
But those, I think, and our road crew can make signs. They can make the road signs. I think we have them.
They order them.
I think we order, I think you're right, Bob. I think we order maybe half a dozen road signs or 10 or whatever we want to order. And
One for every problem area.
and we slap these signs up, have our road crew put these signs up in the, now.
And I definitely agree with the cameras going up and being changed periodically,
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
especially in problem areas.
So,
And I've said this before and I'll say it again, that whoever's going to inspect an area or issue a ticket or whatever, let somebody else know when you're going.
oh yeah.
Yeah, don't go by yourself.
Somebody will.
Just because, I mean, and I told you before, if you know you're going into an area, just give me a call.
Well, I think
And whether you
that's-
want me to be on the horn or whether you want me to
He's here, so
show up. I mean,
that's one reason.
it's just, we gotta cover our keisters.
So I'm, if the board is okay with me being the person right now for the solid waste ordinance, writing the tickets, I'm fine doing that.
I'm fine with that.
I don't think we need a motion, do we?
No.
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
You're already a
And
sign,
then-
I already have a number.
To Jamie's
Yes.
point, don't go alone.
No.
And so since there isn't currently money, any request to pay for any garbage removal and stuff is a no-go at this time, right? I've had
Well, I think-
a request to, help out with an extra dumpster pickup because of the amount of trash that was.
I don't want to see the town go down that path because we do it for one person. We got to do it for everybody.
Everybody.
That's the thing, is
It's a tricky, it's a,
This
real thin
is a
line to
really, this is
walk.
a really hard
You know
one.
what I mean?
This is a really hard situation to deal with because, we have a landlord who is really trying to clean up the operation. And then we have tenants who are fighting the situation, I guess, right, Tara?
Making it difficult.
Making it extremely difficult for the landlord to clean this up. Because financially, it's a burden. And I mean, I know it's a burden. It's, and you know, Fred's been involved in this too, okay? It's not,
Yeah, I've had
not just me.
discussions with Fred.
Right, I'm sure.
Doesn't Fred have a ticket book also?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that's,
But it's, yeah.
No, I'm just putting it out there that I
They
thought.
received the letter, they did move the trash, but it filled the dumpster. Is
Okay.
the
And that
problem.
person is asking for us to help with the dumpster removal, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So I've been doing I've reached out to a couple towns and nobody's really gotten back to me yet. I don't know what the verbiage is, but I think that we need to set up an amount and a line item in our budget for next year, specifically for this issue, for a case by case issue that we can help somebody. I mean, I don't want to,
I'm reluctant to go down that path. If
Well,
we
I'm-
have to bear the burden, I think we should then be attaching a lien to recover our costs.
well, I think, so here's what I've been just thinking about this right now. Okay, we have that fund that,
The 17,000.
yeah,
It's
whatever.
19 and change.
Yeah, we have that fund of night, whatever it is, okay? So maybe to try to keep that a sustaining fund, maybe we look into, and this obviously needs some research.
Right.
But maybe we look into using that fund for situations like this. But our fine money, if people pay their fines,
go back into the fund.
comes back into the fund to try to keep
Exactly.
that as a you know,
A revolving.
ongoing revolving.
Revolving.
Could we?
And I'm not saying take the whole
Contract.
thing, just a little bit.
Right.
And it could be, we
Well, where
do
else
it
would our
one
fine money go?
time.
Where else would it go?
Right.
But if you do it again, we charge you for that first time,
And I was
something like that.
even thinking if somebody is really hard up,
Contract to
can't
do that.
afford to take
Pay it
the
back.
trash or whatever, if they
$10 a
went
week if
to
it
the
was-
transfer station and said, look, I have this trash that I need to get rid of and I can't afford it. Is there something that we can do where they can like go pick up trash on the side of the road or something for the town to
Some
absorb?
form of community service.
Community service to help with that. And I also, with checking with the towns, like with the trash that's thrown on the side of the road and stuff, if they have people that from their transfer stations that go out and get it, or from their road crew that go out and get it. And, so far I've heard back, it's the road crew, because most transfer station don't have the manpower to send somebody out to pick up trash. I do know that this week I asked the gentleman to pick up a couch and a mattress. So you're talking $40 for the mattress and the couch is 15, is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, that's cost to the town that we are absorbing.
Right.
But it doesn't need
The
to
hourly.
laying on the side of the road, and the mattress has been there for quite a long time.
But you're paying two people to pick that up, load it in the truck. I mean,
It's $100.
It's
you
$100.
know, that's what I'm saying. You look at the whole thing. that's-
Right.
Right.
It is costing the town money.
So I think what I'm gonna ask you to do, is-
I need to find out the legalities of that.
that's right, research some of that out, whether we can take that fund
Yeah.
and use that, and whether we can take fine money
And put it back in.
and put it back into that fund to keep that fund revolving and keep it, as long as we can keep it.
And if we could do like a
and I think-
community service thing for somebody that can't,
I think that's a great idea, Angela. I'd like to look into that too.
I mean, I know that we all know what the place that we're talking about. I mean, if they can't afford trash, they certainly could afford to go on the side of the road and pick up trash. Community service.
Maybe.
Well, that's where we need some form of a contract, and that's where I was going, that possibly have a contract. And if somebody could only afford $10 a week, it costs us $400 to take and, I'm just throwing numbers out.
Right.
For that dumpster to be dumped one more time to clean this mess up, per se. So it takes them 40 weeks to take and pay back the $400.
Right, that's not a bad idea.
I don't know, I mean, that way, we're not leaving the taxpayers on the hook. We're offering a minimal solution. I mean, because we understand there's already a burden there.
Right.
I don't,
No, that's a great idea. Something along those lines. I think there's a lot of things that we can work on.
I mean, a community service, so many hours of community service equals so much dollars.
And
I mean, I'm
really
good
need to-
with that too. We gotta look at the liabilities of
Right.
some of that.
I think we really need to work with Tom and get some education out there about what people can recycle and what they can't recycle. What, Bennington, you don't have to pay a dump fee, which is, I know that Pownell's smaller and that we have a dump fee, but if somebody just has recycling.
Well, listen, Bennington pays for it in their taxes.
I know they do.
One way or the other, they're.
They do.
Yeah, it's there.
They think they're getting it for free, they're not.
They're not.
There's nothing free in this world.
No, I know.
That's why they pay double.
The only thing you get is air. That's not
I
even
know,
that free.
but, you know, so.
Bag rate's higher.
You know, recyclables that they could go to the dump and get rid of them and not have to pay the
So,
transfer station.
Joel did say that it was Bill and him that went and picked up that stuff, and so it reminded me of my other question. Is that the process that we want to continue to follow, that the highway department is sort of handling those things? Or should it?
No, what I really want to do is nail people with the cameras.
So don't I.
Right, exactly, and
Yeah.
stop it from
Yeah,
happening.
what I really want to do is I want to stop people from dumping on the side of the road.
It's nice if one whip one out in front of one of them
That's my.
deputies driving down the road, so they put the blue lights on.
Ultimately take care of
I'm
it.
hoping.
I mean, I've been driving to Bennington or back home or whatever, and the person in front of me throws a bag out the window, it's like, and they don't even think nothing of it.
I pick a bag up on the hill at least once a week.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Highway going up the hill.
I pick up bags in front of the transfer station when I go to the kennel.
Yeah.
Transfer station's closed, they just dump it right at the gate.
I'm not sure that you're ever gonna stop the
Right.
person that throws their McDonald's bag out of their car when they're driving down the road. I mean, if we think we're gonna stop that,
No, we're not.
that's never gonna happen.
But we
okay?
need to do something to help educate and to get these people to stop dumping stuff on the side of the road.
That and try to come up with a feasible solution. like
Right.
we discussed.
Unfortunately, I think the person who dumps on the side of the road is probably not easily educated.
Right.
I probably agree with you.
That and they probably
It's
are,
hard to believe anybody that's doing that doesn't realize what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
Right? That's what I mean.
They're just making the choice because they're being lazy.
right, they don't care.
Whatever. And they don't give a
The
shit.
other problem I was thinking might be, for one of the situations we were talking about, they may not have a truck. They may not be able to lift certain items. So, and because I know that I've seen the property that we were talking about, and there's some recyclables or, what do you call it? I can't think of the right word, electronic type things that are
Right.
free at the transfer station. So
Right.
that's, just another.
Education, I guess. So we need to work on that.
How many people don't know somebody with a truck?
Well, so Tara,
It actually is harder than you would think if you don't have a lot of family or friends with.
I think this will be, and I hate to table stuff, but this will be coming back.
Yeah.
This will be coming back to us in the not too distant future because it's something that's on our radar. And I will start writing some,
I'll get you the
think it's-
names of the ones that have
Start writing tickets and see if that helps.
had the.
and you actually have to get me my number because it never came through on the email that you sent.
Oh.
There was never a number in it. That's okay.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. So just give me my,
I can find that.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Which brings us to executive for personnel.
Like to make a motion, we enter into executive session for personnel.
Second.
Any more discussion? Any questions? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye,
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye.
will be action after or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think there'll be action after. There may be, but I don't think so.
It's been a really long time.
The action during.
Stop recording.
Okay, yeah.
Please hold.
I don't know how to pause the recording. Interesting. All right, I'll just start kicking everybody out.
It's still recording.
Yeah. That's stop.
I'm not moving.
You sent Hannah home too early.
Yes, I did.
Maybe put my glasses on.
Where is the stop recording? There we go. Stop. We're pause.
I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session for personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. There's no action to be taken at this time. I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive for contractual.
So moved.
Second.
And anything that, this could put the town in jeopardy if we speak about it in open session. I don't think there's any action on this either. All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Gave me it all. I'll entertain a motion to, come out of executive session for contractual.
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Any public comment, Tara?
If you have a public comment, please raise your hand or unmute and start talking. There's only one
State
person.
your name.
Only one person out there. And no hand.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight.
Thanks, Bob. Bye.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Thank you.
Shoot that.